righty. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 593. I'm just flexing in the background as I can't emoticon properly. What is the manly anime art style? Okay. Usually when you watch an anime, you get a vibe for what the anime is just by looking at it. You don't have to read about it. You don't have to listen to the music or hear the voice. You can just look at it and go, okay, yeah, this is going to be about a story about a bunch of guys beating the crap out of each other or killing each other or fighting each other. So that's generally why we have a bunch of guys buff of whatever denomination. And I do believe that's Kenshiro on the screen right now. So yeah, Fist of the North Star,
Kenshiro.
Classic from the 70s. Was it the 70s or the 80s? I think it was the 70s. I can't remember.
70s.
Yeah, pretty old art style.
70s.
But every mangaka or artist has their own style. So there's not so much muscular men. It's just that's the story, what it's about, and therefore the artist draws that. So there's no distinctive look for muscular men. You could argue a certain style, like Akira Toriyama does certain muscular men a certain way, like the stocky short male, and that sort of flows into the stocky short female, and whatever you call that, because they're aliens or robots or what have you. So it's not so much muscular men, it's just what the story's about. And
it was 83 to 88.
83, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. But it's in part also a style of the decade.
Yeah, we're talking about the birth of what Nintendo just came out in the 80s. Computers were just coming out. So everything from 10, 20 years ago is obviously going to look different. There's way more technology involved. And artists were not just drawing everything by hand. So lots of different stories to tell. We're no longer just doing Astro Boy. We're no longer just doing Pretty Girl or Pretty Cure, all these other 80s happy, pretty things. We're going to have some actual violence and sex and killing and blood and guts. So always fun to see the art form change and mature. But that's where we get the big, bulky men. So, and their heads explode. Always fun. Okay, let's get started. It's not even 9 minutes. This won't take too long. Seems like a positive video. Let's get going. Oh, cool.
What is the manly anime art style? Many artists have their interpretation of illustrating strength. Some authors depict muscles as realistic.
Oh, that's I know that. Crying Freeman. I think. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Wait, no, it's on his back. The tattoo's on his back, not his front. Oh, crap. Anyway.
While others will go beyond the normal perception. Even so, when designing a...
Oh, there was Go 13. That's it. We're done. Video's over. The anime style is Go 13. That's all you need to know. Good night. Okay, go ahead.
Manly anime character or a womanly anime character, certain features tend to be present on their outside structure.
All right, that's definitely Baki. Like that's totally Baki. Baki is the exaggerated muscle definition.
Every facial muscle too.
Every muscle. Even in the manga, they talk about facial muscles. It's weird. The guy is not the guy on the right, but the guy like the guy on the right. He drinks a whole bottle of wine and then he takes the cork and starts chewing the cork because he has to exercise his jaw muscles. It's like, okay.
Cork doesn't taste very well. It's kind of sandy.
Yeah, he needs a really strong piece of gum. I don't know, but cork is the way to go. Anyway.
Before I proceed any further, you might have a question. What's a manly and womanly character? In short terms, people with muscles or a masculine spirit, or maybe just...
Wait, what? A masculine spirit? Okay.
That is where the video's getting weird, but...
I guess women could have a masculine spirit?
He's gonna explain what he means.
Yeah, like, we think of Saris Integra. Is it? No, what's her name? Integra from Helsing. She's very masculine. She's very like boom.
She's over the top. I'd go with Lieutenant Hawkeye from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Oh, okay.
That's a realistic, strong woman.
Sure.
Just plain adults. If you've been watching entertainment of any sort, chances are you already
Plain adults, then they show JoJo. It's like, no. It's great.
encountered these characters before. They're not anime exclusive. Manly men and manly women have existed in other forms.
That's not... Sarah Connor's not... I mean, she's buff. I wouldn't say she's masculine.
Is he making the opposite mistake that SJWs make?
Terminator 2, we saw a lot of weird things happen. Sarah Connor was just a dedicated, super serious chick in a mental institution.
Yeah, but that he's mistaking an assertive woman who goes through the action scenes just to protect her kid, for example. That is somehow manly now.
Right.
And honestly, if you ever encounter of most species that take care of the kids, and you anger the mother or threaten the children, that's not what we call manly. That's what we call a mother's rage or something, whichever applies in your language. And that has nothing to do with manliness. That is, oh dear.
Yeah, and you connect that with a time-traveling robot designed to kill. You are pretty much like, no, I am going to get ready for Armageddon, and I don't care who knows it. Like, she's that dedicated. So, very strong, very serious, very stoic. Yeah, she's just violent and dedicated and focused. I wouldn't say she's masculine at all, though.
I would also say that these Western action heroes most likely laid the foundations for much of these well-known manga of the time.
Yeah, this is a great example of Sylvester Stallone being the I wouldn't say the body, but the face of Kenshiro. The hair, the 80s hair at least, when he was doing like those old 70s films like Cobra. That sort of vibe, I think. The 80s were heavily inspired by Hollywood. Or 80s anime, rather.
Yeah, also what we often see as sci-fi wasteland scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of Mad Max in that.
For sure.
And it's all a lot United States media inspired.
Oh, yeah, even with like Pat Labor Tank Police, the design, the grime, the dirt, the computer systems, like all the buttons, the keypads, they're big and industrial. Like they look like they came out of the 80s, even though it's like the future. So you have all these big consoles and stuff like that. I love that look. It's always been entertaining to see that the inspiration from the 80s came from like B-movie 70s sci-fi.
This video is specifically looking at the Japanese side of things. Hi, I'm the AnimeHERO, and this is the manly anime art style. In various works of manga and anime that I've experienced, I noticed a pattern to the presentation of character design. Over the years, we departed from Tezuka's Disney-influenced art style and branched out into various other preferences.
I wouldn't say that's a departing. I'm just saying different artists have different stories to tell. And if you ask them to draw Astro Boy, they do it in the same style because they can. It's easier, it's cleaner, it's simpler. Whereas Battle Angel is very, very technical and clean, but then there's all this extra detail in the background, so you have this big contrast. Whereas Osamu Tezuka was like, just clean, simple watercolors here and there sometimes. Very simple palette, and stories aren't that overtly complex. So, but still mature.
Yeah, but we have more style branching, if you allow me to call it that, nowadays, because this whole thing has developed for how many decades now? More than half a century.
Yeah, since the 50s.
Yeah, but I don't want to agree with that there was only this back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I misunderstood him.
Each author can bring their habits to the table, allowing them to stand out from each other. However, when trying to present an impressive person that the audience can understand, certain rules need to be followed. If you're drawing someone who works in law enforcement or military, then you have to dress them in some type of uniform. The same concept applies.
No. Armstrong himself is a caricature. And to say that someone working in law enforcement, that doesn't count here because he's not the only soldier.
Right. And you got to compare that to law enforcement around the world. Like you look at Japan, law enforcement, no one carries guns. They have billy clubs.
Yeah.
They work in precincts. They're not buff. They're just cops.
Yeah, look at the cops in Batman animated series. They look all over the place.
Yeah, same with the UK, same with the States. They're all different.
Yeah, Ishikawa in Ghost in the Shell.
Yep.
He's not the buff guy. He's the
tech guy.
Brainy detective guy.
Oh, sorry. The non-cybernetically enhanced.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The meat bag.
Well, he does have a cyber brain, but just for interfacing, everything else is natural.
To join an elderly man. To emphasize age, you can add facial hair such as a long beard, balding, white hair, wrinkles, a bad
that guy
back,
was
a
old and
walking
fat.
cane, etc. There's certain key items to help readers or viewers make that distinction. In relation to manly anime or old anime in general, there's a few recurring trends to make a man or woman stand out from a crowd. The most basic factor of a masculine type person is stature and muscles. Usually, a character becomes intimidating from their size, so when they appear for the first time, there tends to be a dramatic entrance showcasing their might. Series such as Toriko and Kongo Bancho introduced their main leads through similar methods. The large Toriko debuts alongside the small Komatsu, so it makes Toriko contrast easily. Akira Kongo is drawn differently from the everyday people of his world, such as his hairstyle, large biceps, and tall height. And to further insinuate that message, other people stare and address him by saying, "That's not normal."
Okay, but...
Because it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's hairstyle is not even... That's not has nothing to do with being male or female. It's just a weird-looking, spiky haircut.
It's one of these hairstyles that only have one side. It's like a sprite that keeps moving.
This we always attribute to Akira Toriyama, but there's no translation to the real world. Like when I think of like a poofy hair, I think of like a pompadour, but both males and females can both wear a pompadour, and you've seen that. Well, look at any rom-com from Japan where you have like the guys in school who are always skipping, or they're part of a gang or a motorcycle group. They've usually got the over-the-top pompadour hair, which is basically you have long hair as a man and you brush it up and then you like spray it or use whatever to keep it in place. But what's that chick from Street Fighter? She has a pompadour. Viper with does she have sticks? I can't remember what her weapon is.
Yeah, well, that's a hairstyle that was mainly popular in the 80s.
Yeah, long and
just
poofy.
Only remains in very weird subcultures.
Exactly.
And I think mainly Japan.
Exactly. Well, we see a picture of, do a Google image search of Japanese bikers with pompadours. You'll see this crazy tall hair. Absolutely hilarious. But,
and in this image, just on this page, we see that this character is actually a caricature.
Yeah.
It's a joke because we see
collar.
the girl and she wonders, human? That guy's supposed to be human? That's not a human.
His chest is so big, the shirt doesn't fit.
She herself notices that hair makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's probably non-Euclidean hair.
Yeah, like does he sweat so much he just pulls it back and just naturally forms spikes with all the residue of his body? Like, no. How does it get that way? Like, you're thinking like grease or something? I don't know, some kind of petroleum
How much
product?
time does he spend on it?
That's a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just do that. So, yeah. Anyway, it's easy to draw. It's fun. It looks cool. It's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with male or female though.
Yeah, it's not. It's less to do with manly, but more with caricature.
Yeah, with drawing and drawing manga for a living, and this is easy to do.
Because in a way, Golgo is also a caricature. The way he's drawn, the way he always stares, the way his eyes look.
Everything about
That I
Golgo,
sometimes don't even know where he's looking.
It's everything he does.
He's so detached.
All his design, everything is like, oh my god. He drinks scotch. He kills people. He drives cars. He screws hookers. He flies biplanes.
He doesn't screw hookers. He lays there, doesn't move at all, and they have the time of their lives. I don't know. He probably has super control over his genitals.
Yeah, that's why he has sex, just to control his pelvis more. He needs a workout.
Yeah, but he doesn't move at all. You don't see a muscle of him animated as he's just lying there, and he's just staring at the ceiling as if he's in another plane of existence and doesn't care about anything, and probably expects a bullet to come fly by.
Oh, that's what. He's listening to people outside. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway,
that is not well. As awesome as Golgo is, he is a caricature. He's not this. It's a super serious anime, but you can't really take that as realistic or take it seriously.
Oh no, it's basically James Bond on super crack. It's just
on super steroids.
Just take every drug and just throw it at the window.
And that's similar with characters that are drawn like this, and like Lieutenant Armstrong,
right,
and his sister. Those are over the top characters.
I think it's her hair is it crazy, or I can't remember exactly what she.
I think she had a weird eyebrow.
Oh, okay.
Something like, but yeah, her hair. I think her hair also was weird.
Yeah, like look at this guy's eyebrows. It reminds me of I don't know if you ever watched Kenichi, History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi. All of the masters or all the really strong people, their eyebrows are like lightning bolts.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like jagged, and I don't know what that represents.
I think these super eyebrows that look like wild animals are, and I'm pulling this off my head, cuff, whatever. As references to gods or mythical beasts.
Okay.
Like when you look at the Oni masks and similar things, they're usually stylized this way.
Well, yeah, the temple that they train in is called Ryozenpaku, which is, I think, the temple of the gods or something like that.
See. This like this style element was also used in Asura's Wrath when you see him with close-ups. His eyebrows also look a little bit like these stylized flames that are also have this like cloud swirl in them. So it's all it's not humans.
Yeah, it looks
to indicate that these characters are beyond human.
Yeah, the same thing. I can't remember the name of the stupid cowlick hair that the main heroes or male protagonists of rom-coms have. Sometimes the females have two sometimes.
Yeah.
Sticking at the top of their head for whatever dumb reason.
Yes. I there's a word that sounds similar, and I don't want to mix them up right now.
Yeah, it's
ahoge.
I don't know what it's supposed to represent, though. I don't know what that means.
It's supposed to indicate silliness. This character is a little bit dumb. That's why the hair sticks out.
Okay.
It's the same as the tooth.
Like for the geeks and the nerds when they have their teeth sticking out.
No, not the front teeth, not the buck teeth, but the what's it? The canine. When you have one canine sticking out, usually with a female character.
Yeah. They're catty.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same. That's to indicate this is a silly character. It's a quirky character, not the bullshit quirky, but the actual. And there was a time when characters had both. Sometimes they still do. Excel from Excel Saga, for example, I think she has both.
Okay.
So I might be wrong, but she definitely has the tooth.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a great example to compare to other styles. It's so bizarre. It's not going to help.
No, it's just an element. The tooth and the ahoge, they're characterizing elements. They're like drawing tropes that indicate this character you can expect this and that from.
Right.
Just from these elements.
All right, let's keep going.
Other times, a character will be forced to fight, which causes him or her to surprise the audience with their mighty physique. Again, it's all about drawing them bigger than the average person, but sometimes just showing them do things that others can't is enough. Well, it also helps if you flex your muscles while killing a beast in a gladiator arena.
Oh, well, damn, girl.
Good on you. Nice.
Various mangaka draw bodies differently, so it's a matter of personal taste. They can range from slim builds, real sizes, exemplary musculature, exaggerated figures, and very over-the-top bodies.
It wasn't over the top, that was mutated.
Yeah, so that's Baki. Most of those are... There's Baki's father. So, yeah, they just exaggerate everything.
Aside from being big and fit, there are other methods that make up the manly art style. Most of these variations reside in facial features. Just about every manly and...
I don't think I understand what he's getting at. First he talked about bodies being whatever. That's fine. You could say that's masculine because there's lots of muscle. That's what men are known for. But faces?
Can you go back a bit?
Yeah. You could have all kinds of men and women look masculine and feminine in their face. It doesn't mean they're masculine or feminine. It's just similar.
Aside from being big and fit, there are other methods that make up the manly art style. Most of these variations reside in facial features. Just about every manly and womanly character have a specific grin, with subtle hints of strength, confidence, and...
A specific grin.
Did he say grin or grim?
A grin, like a smile.
That is... I have
that's
no
weird.
idea what he's talking about there.
That's an emotion.
Because that when we look at this frame with Olivia Armstrong, a bit back, is it this? Is it here? I think it was after this one.
Just about...
Here. That is not a grin. That is the absence of anything remotely indicating a smile.
Maybe that's...
Stoicism.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say. I hope he's trying to say that.
Yeah.
You can't attribute emotion to manliness. That's kind of...
Yeah. And just drawing a face in a more hard way doesn't mean it's manly. It just indicates maturity, if you will.
Right. If you look at Kenshiro, he's not smiling too often. He's not giggling too often. He's very serious.
Yeah, but it's not even about that. It's about, you see this difference very often between the young girls in anime, teens, early 20s, versus the mature women that in their 30s or older, and they don't have the huge eyes. They have the smaller, slim eyes, like Olivia here, because that indicates that she is not as frail of heart. She is not. You don't necessarily need to protect her as much because she has her own strength, which is a good thing. And this is usually indicated through the size of the eyes drawn in manga. You will find this correlation. It's not always there, but it's often there.
I'd like to compare Jotaro from JoJo to Joseph Joestar. Jotaro is the weird-looking guy with the hat who's mostly stoic, and Jotaro is a goofball. He's playing pranks and saying, and has all kinds of emotions on his face. So they're both buff guys, though. They're both like big, tall, muscular fellows who pose a lot. So I don't think emotion is rather the lack of emotion, like stoicism, is probably more accurate.
And with Olivia, you see that we know that She is a soldier. She's seen the battlefield. This is something that has affected her whole demeanor, her outlook on life. The other girl, I don't know where she's from. She just looks unempathetic and disdainful.
Yeah, we could just say confidence is masculine or attractive masculine, because they've either done the thing already, so they're sure of what they're doing, or if they come across violence, they're not scared. They're not like, oh no, what do I do? So they're very, unless you're Joestar, of course. So this emotion you can't really attribute to being male, unless you're talking about, as he said, adults, where as you're an adult you're supposed to be mature.
Yeah, with the one on the right, I would rather assume this character is insane.
Looks a bit
Just
young.
From this look.
She could just have a lot of
Olivia,
makeup
she
on.
looks like from this frame. So insanity maybe 5 to 10%. I mean, the problem is I also know who the character is.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to take that out of my head.
You need to know the story
but
before.
She rather, I could interpret her as looking a bit dead inside.
Yeah, we don't know
how the eye is drawn.
Does she have magical powers? Does she control things? Is she about to beat someone up?
Nothing about that. Just her character. With if she's drawn with this expression, this face, these eyes. What can I expect of this character?
I guess
with Olivia, I would say I could guess cold, determined, in control.
Yeah, but you're making that assessment just purely on design, and that could be any kind of story, and that's why we need the narrative to tell us, oh, this is a story about war. It's like, oh, okay, this is a story about going to school and bad things happen. Oh, okay.
Of course, but in this case, the design fits with who the character is in the story.
You would hope.
With the one on the right, I wouldn't necessarily think the same things about
that could be.
I think about Olivia.
That looks like a horror story, or it could be a exaggerated high school fighting story. Something's about to go down. Like her hair is way too wild for that to be a design choice for the fight.
I could think abusive psycho bitch.
Possibly. Yeah, we need more context as to understand, because once you have context of setting and genre, they're like, oh, okay, this is a horror story. And the only reason I say that is because there's a gradation black background, and you see her from above, from below. So you look up at her. So something is happening that's either violent or scary, or something's about to occur. And usually you associate dark colors or a lack of light with horror and mystery and shocking things that happen. So anyway.
Not every manly and womanly character have a specific grin with subtle hints of strength, confidence, and focus. It's a stoic face that says, I'm not impressed, and
where's the grin?
What creates this manly impression, and why doesn't it look...
That's like a scowl. It's not a grin. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm going to beat you up right about now. I don't feel anything. I have anger. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, this is a dead serious face.
Yeah.
That is aiming right through you.
Same.
I don't know why he says grin.
Yeah, it's bad.
No sense.
Bad word.
Maybe he never has seen someone grin.
Maybe he hasn't learned the words to use properly when he's talking about emotions.
Maybe he's just saying the video upside down.
Oh, yeah. He's smiling when I turn my head 180 degrees. Yeah.
That's not a smile at all. Oh, dear.
It's like drawing, he was drawing John F. Kennedy upside down to be more accurate. So he's like, oh, he's smiling. Like, no, it's fine.
Other anime characters. The first reason is their thickly shaded eyebrows. Yeah, thick shaded eyebrows are very important. It's part of their fashion sense.
That's not thick. That's just defined. Those are thin. What are you talking about, buddy? The artist just had fun. He just drew a straight line and went down. Whereas Kenshiro was just this
No. He meant the fat shadow.
Oh, he did? Not the hair? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of artists, when they draw the eyes and the eyebrows, it overlaps the hair, like the hair on the head. You see that all the time, even in Sailor Moon.
Oh, that is just so that we can make out the expression better.
Well, and they're animating the eyes, and they don't want to draw these strands of hair in the way, or else that'd be too much effort. So, yeah, it's one of those animation things.
How to animate.
Yeah, how to draw properly. Don't draw stupid lines of hair if you don't have to. So, it's too much effort.
Usually, their eyebrows are colored black, despite not matching with hair color. The shape and thickness of the eyebrow varies per mangaka. Takao Saito draws his eyebrows for Gogo 13
This is what I mean.
as very...
Look at Golgo. His eyes, they don't focus. They're just
Dead.
staring everywhere at once. And this is this exact same face that he has on when he's lying in bed with a whore on top of him. And it's like... And she has the orgasm of her life. It's like, what is going on? He's just lying there with his face.
He does sometimes wear aviators. I have seen him wear the aviators in some episodes, so you don't know what he looks like. But yeah, I know those bushy eyebrows, the dead stare, pretty standard stuff.
large,
It's
while
this,
Keisuke...
these eyebrows I otherwise tend to see with, what's it called? Yakuza stories.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think bushy or
Is
big
there a
eyebrows.
link to Japanese criminality with that?
I don't think so. I think it's just hairy men. That's about it. That's it. That's all it is. Some guys have, some women have big bushy eyebrows too. Who cares? Nothing to do with
That looks...
anything really.
I like the coloring, but the everything looks off.
Well, this is
Weird.
Baki, so
Okay.
Nagaki will often sketch them as very thin. Meanwhile, someone like Osamu Akimoto will design his
That
eyebrows
is
for
a
Hyotsu in a very
caricature.
comical letter M shape. But what about the girl? The same can apply, but the large thick eyebrows aren't as common in this gender. Instead, it's their eyelashes which are heavily shaded. On the subject of hair, there
called
isn't
makeup.
a definitive hairstyle that describes a manly character. Well, there are hairstyles and clothes that are used by a different group of people, being delinquent.
Dude, have you ever seen real people? Men tend to have bigger eyebrows than women.
they tend to have more
They
hair
also,
too.
it's also because the eyebrows of men are lower on their faces, and especially if they have a bit of a pronounced forehead, that creates a further shadow into the eye socket, which makes it all appear darker and bigger.
So here we have the pompadour on the right-hand side, the red poofy hair.
God, I hate that.
And the guy on the left with the blonde hair, I don't know what that is. It's just
A poodle.
it's just a ball of blonde hair.
It's a poodle. It's a poodle.
He just has one of those attachments on a razor that's like 5 inches long. It's every angle of your head's the same shape. Yeah.
God, I hate that pompadour. That, especially that one. That looks like just like shit on his head. fits his pathetic expression.
Oh.
Like he's probably regretting ever going to the hairdresser and asking for that, and now it's there, and he paid $80 for it.
Yeah, it takes effort. You can't just fall into a pompadour.
She just slammed pie atop his head and called it a day. Just here, you want a haircut? Here's your haircut. Now, go off.
Here's a buzz cut. Take me 3 minutes. Just zoom, zoom. Done. You look way better.
Just let it grow out.
All right.
And do the samurai nonsense.
Bancho, Sukeban, Bosozokus, Yankees, Rockabillies, etc. But that's a different topic. I have encountered specific hair features done by certain artists who often reuse it on their characters. I'm referring to very stylized spiky hair. While that is a normal thing to see in anime, there's a few artists that manage to create their own style, which can border on the hot-blooded character archetype.
Kirtiani.
A very noticeable example is Masami Kuromada of Saint Seiya fame. He often draws the same long, sharp hair on various characters. Another person is Go Nagai, who tends to recycle some character designs, but if the look works, then keep it going. Both Go Nagai and Ken Ishikawa would also add sideburns to their characters. Then there's Monkey.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with anything.
What's this? Yeah, what's this to do with the manly draw style?
Yeah, I don't get it. He just showed women and men with various hairstyles. You're like, what? What is it?
When do we get to Violence Jack? I want to see how big that guy is.
Yeah, well, like this is a pompadour as well, right? This is big poofy hair. It's more of an afro, I guess, but it's kind of hard to tell what he's doing with his hair. So, but nothing about it says manliness outside of the sideburns. So I don't understand what even the eyebrows are pretty plain. So I don't know what.
And then what is Jigen?
Yeah, like where's the manliness?
Because if there's a character that's a very stereotypical male, if you will, that's Jigen.
Punch known for also having sideburns on Lupin III and the curvy beard on Daisuke Jigen. Facial hair can also be used to demonstrate a sign of age and masculinity.
And the sky is blue, and shoes you wear on your feet, and...
I also wanted to say Lupin is also loosely inspired by the design for Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.
Sure.
So that influences that. He's a monkey man. What did he just say?
Sideburns are a symbol of masculinity or whatever. You're like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's good. No disagreement. Thank you.
Mustache or the mustache beard combo. Facial features.
The mustache.
Oh,
beard.
facial hair is a sign of masculinity. Wow, I am so flabbergasted.
The style.
Did you learn that in elementary school biology? That's a secondary sexual characteristic of the male sex?
Yeah, well, you gotta point these out, man. You still have to tell about it. You gotta tell the people who's watching your video what you learned.
Yeah. Yeah, I
mean, when I was 4, I learned that too, but I didn't make a video about it.
I mean, we're not in video essay territory, at least.
Yeah, men are taller and stronger. Women are shorter and weaker. Oh,
that's sexist. That's nature.
Feminine women have breasts and curves. Oh, what? No, I've never seen that before. Okay.
That you should have also learned in elementary school biology.
All right.
Or at least in my home state, where elementary goes up to 6th grade. In other states, it only went up to 4 because Germany is weird.
But that's okay. All right.
Features are another key component of a manly character. Alongside the thick eyebrows and facial hair, there's also the nose. Specifically, one.
Yeah, but he had no facial hair. Kenshiro's clean shaven. What are you talking about?
He has eyebrows.
Yeah, but that's just... They designed him that way.
And he has a nose.
I don't... What is this guy talking about?
A pronounced nose. Because, females don't have pronounced noses. They just have these dainty little triangles.
Men have manly features. Wow. Okay.
That's drawn realistically. Most anime and cartoon noses tend to be drawn on an angle, have a small line, or even non-existent. But for
that's
manly
no. Krillin doesn't have a nose.
I'm gonna say,
as I remember from my childhood, Krillin actually does not have a nose.
I'm gonna say
he actually does not have an actual nose. He has no nose.
This is all based off the design, the character designer. If you guys ever played Final Fantasy Tactics, none of the characters, male or female, don't have a nose. They just don't.
Yeah, but they're just not drawn in. But Krillin actually does not possess a nose.
Oh, really?
He's noseless. He's physically noseless.
He's like Pac-Man. He's just a complete oval line where his nose should be.
Yes, he's physiologically without a nose.
Okay.
It's not just not drawn. It's not there.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the topic at hand. He's just describing what he's seeing. He's like, well, this female character doesn't have eyebrows like the male character does. You're like, okay. So, Anyway, here's Guts with his nose. Therefore, he's a guy. Like, I don't know.
Here you can see that the eyebrows are very deep there on his forehead ridge, on the like on the cliff's edge, and with female characters, not only is there less of that forehead ridge, or it's more rare to be pronounced. The eyebrows also sit a bit higher, and that makes the eyes look bigger by themselves. That's a natural thing already. That is sexual characteristics 101. Something that certain people are trying to deny even exists. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but that's not the topic here.
Yeah, people have to pay attention when they see lots of males and females dress up as other genders, and you're like, wait a second, something looks different, and you pay attention to what that is.
Well, the trick is to pull your eyebrows up, which makes you look constantly startled, which is part of the whole female physiology thing, because that makes the men subconsciously immediately think, the woman looks startled, I must protect her. Yeah. But if as a man you pull your eyebrows up like that all the time, you get wrinkles on your forehead.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Okay.
Are fully drawn, including the nostrils and dorsum. Ears aren't too important, but what finishes the design are the eyes and a stern jawline.
Ears is one of those topics that, while the Japanese can draw everything to utter perfection, nobody seems to care about ears. Nobody gets ears right, and ears only have one side, apparently. They tend to be like the magical sprite hair. No matter from which angle you look, the ear is probably always at the same angle.
Unless they're drawing blonde elf girls, then they have big ears.
Yeah, you're right. When it's fantasy ears, they suddenly can draw ears, but normal human ears, like, nope.
Yeah, and some of them,
impossible.
When you animate them, they want the ears to move up and down. I don't know if you ever watched Record of the Lotus War. The Deedlit, whenever she's excited, her ears go up and down. Okay, fine. Or when she's sad, they go down. Okay, all right.
The jaw
here we
requires
see the
no
face on the
explanation.
right, for example. That looks like one of these mystical festival masks. That's what the face is designed after.
Oh, Yujiro?
It looks like
That's Yujiro Hanma, I believe.
He looks like an Oni.
Well,
he like an Oni mask.
does have a demon back. That's one of his nicknames. The musculature on his back is so over-defined. If he doesn't have his shirt on, he looks like he has a face of a demon on his back or on his muscles.
Like a crab.
It
has that samurai spirit in it.
Do a Google image search for Yujiro's demon back, and you'll see this ridiculously looking. Like, it's so crazy. Like, how do you exercise his back muscles? I have no idea. Anyway.
You can just tell by looking at it. In contrast to the big, expressive anime eyes, manly eyes tend to be narrow with small pupils, but there are some ways to enhance the experience via shaded eyes, white pupilless.
That was also from further away, and it's to indicate an emotion. He's emotionally down in that panel. The hell.
Yeah, I think he's missing the.
I think he's just saying random things now. For a while.
This is like a 4-year-old trying to describe like Michelangelo's works of art, and you're just like, well, he's not wrong, but it's missing like what the hell he's looking at.
He drew arms, and then there he drew heads, and they make bodies that make humans, and then poses, and yeah.
Yeah, it's
there's the fingers touching each other because it's God.
Yeah,
and he's sitting on a cloud, but he doesn't yet understand that the cloud also represents the human brain.
Oh, it's great. This guy's amazing.
On a cloth.
You're just like, what? Okay, you're not wrong, but it's
just he's just describing random things now. There's nothing to do with the original topic.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I'm having a good time. I don't know about you guys. It's like, what?
I don't know. I'm just sad confused. But here we look. This is the same hair from the other side. He only has 3 spikes. He doesn't have 5 spikes where you have the 2 lower spikes also on the other side.
Right.
You will only ever see 3 spikes.
Yeah.
No matter from which direction you look, and they always stand out.
The hair is
So
always being pushed by the wind or something.
Yeah, and when I see this, I either hate it or I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
And for a long time in my childhood, I hated this stuff because I found it lazy. I didn't see the joke in it. Because I was also pissed at early 3D, just putting sprites everywhere, and they would all move with the camera, and it would drive me nuts.
Well, when you look at Chrono Trigger and you see his sprite for the first time when he wakes up in bed and you start walking around, it's like, oh yeah, he literally has spiky hair from every angle. And it's obviously drawn differently. And then you go into the main menu or whatever the pause menu is, and it's Akira Toriyama, and you're like, oh, like, okay.
He just stole the character from Secret of Mana.
Yeah, well, that's not wrong.
Yes, he did. It's the main character from Secret of Mana, the design. Same clothes, same hair.
It is very, very close. You're right. Okay.
The girl even also looks like the girl from Secret of Mana.
That is very true. I will give you
and
that one.
the scientist girl looks like Arale.
I have to Google that.
From the girl, the daughter of Dr. Slump.
Oh, right. Yes. Anyway.
Eyes and manly tears.
Manly
What about
tears?
women? Well, you got me there. Put sunglasses on them, that tends to work. Of all the
What?
female ladies I bump into, all I can say is they
how?
look mature. They too can have a realistic nose and balanced cheeks, but I think the selling point comes down to their eyes and lips. When you compare the majority of anime girls to the women of Space Adventure Cobra, you can tell there's an age difference. These are most definitely women with their accuracy to body proportions. Characters such as Motoko Kusanagi, Faye Valentine, Fujiko Mine, Michiko Melandros, Lady Snowblood, and Serentegra all have that adult flair, and it's really all in the face. There's a certain look in their skin that can range from leader, sexy, strong, motherly, all types of different demeanors simply based on their facial features. Sure.
That has nothing to do with style, buddy. That's just saying, okay, younger women have bigger, like when you draw girls or young women in anime and manga, they tend to have bigger eyes. Like you look at Sailor Moon. Older women have smaller eyes. They're closer together. They're more elegant. That's just how we perceive children.
Yeah, didn't I explain that before?
Yeah, this is like when you're a kid, you have a big head with big eyes, and they get smaller and smaller as you grow.
Yeah, but he's not explaining it well. He's just saying random things.
I thought we were talking about male art style, not female features thing. Like, what is he doing now?
But he mistakes the maturity of female characters with manliness.
I don't know.
Which I think is a similar mistake. Not the exact same mistake, but a similar mistake that the SJWs make with strong women.
Yeah, but he described sunglasses. Like, those are good. Like, for what? Like, what are you talking about?
I have no idea what he was talking about there.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
There's other characters that are more unrealistic than others. Ellie Ragu from Shadowskill has that crazy hairdo and...
Okay, yeah, that is kind of wild. You see that a lot, those two little... I don't know what you call that normally. But not bangs, with the same idea, but their hair that comes to the side of the head. In this case, in manga and anime, they curl it up to the face, like horns.
Yeah, I think it's an attempt at a female version of what did you call it? Koteletten? No, that's a German word. Sideburns?
Yes, it's a female sideburn, but it's long.
Yeah,
so it's from the side of the head.
It comes from the back, but it's like the alternative to also have something cool, hairy stuff on the face, and it makes it a bit look like a helmet as well.
Yeah, plus she has short hair on top, and then the half of the hair on the bottom is long, and it's done in a ponytail or a rat tail, rather. And then at the end, it's all bushy.
Yeah, this also stays consistent with the male character in the background. This is just the drawing style.
Yeah.
And it says nothing. So why does he bring this up? Because this is an exception to his the pattern that he wants to recognize, but he doesn't really understand that he's doing that.
This
he
is
just says, oh, but there's also this other character that's not like that.
Yeah.
You're not making a point.
If he wants to jump on like male hairstyle is a certain way, you cannot just go to this. This is a very complicated character design for a female. I don't even know why he's even talking about it. But to look at that as like, yeah, there's all this stuff happening. She's in action pose. She has this body armor, and then there's, I don't know what's going. Like, it's really complicated. And to understand it with physics and nature is like, nope, brain doesn't compute. It just looks really cool. So,
and it's just generally a hard drawing style, because the male as the female character, they're drawn similarly hard.
Yeah, and the thing with that
in the contours, in the angles
that we always do is
everything.
We try to imagine where's the head, like where does it end if the hair wasn't there? Like how would you shape the skull? Like it's very hard to figure that out. And I don't think that's important, because when people draw well and they want different poses at different perspectives, this is clearly, it looks like she's either about to jump at someone because we're looking at her from the straight angle on the horizon, but it could be from above. She's jumping up and she's looking up. So there's, she's bending over, ready to launch herself. So this is an action pose, and that's without a setting, without a background. I don't know where she's going. I don't know where I'm looking at her. And it gives it that dynamic value, which has nothing to do with what the topic is.
I would also say that with this style specifically, the male and female heads look the same. Like you look at the eyebrows, how they're set. You look at the eyes, how they are set. You look at the angles of the heads. They have similar proportions. They have very big chins, and all the sex differences between the two characters, you will just see in the body, in the rest of the body.
Yeah, mostly
maybe in the hairstyle.
When you're talking about
if you put a male body to this and just left the head with that hairstyle, it would just be a male character.
Yeah, the typical look for females in anime, at least the face, the chin comes to a point, whereas in males, not as much, although they could do that as well.
It depends. So I haven't seen this one, but I would assume that the male character we see in the background, if we saw him from the front, he would have a similar chin. Maybe not as extreme, but close to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is all stuff.
That's the style here.
Yeah, this is all stuff I picked up from. I have a How to Draw Anime Chicks book in the original Japanese. I can't read a word, but you understand just by looking at the drawings, the step by step. You're like, oh, this is how you draw the back. This is how you draw hips. This is how you draw the waist and breast lines and the proper proportions of the body. Like one head height goes down to the base of the nipple, so you have one head difference in height between that, and then you do even more. Like these are basic stuff that you figure out.
It's a very interesting thing about manga. Most manga style, not the highly caricaturesque stuff.
Right, exactly.
But the most of people who learn to draw manga will learn to draw very realistic bodies, very realistic body shapes and proportions. While Western cartoon styles have just exaggerated into these over-the-top shapes. Just look at all the DC animated universe stuff. That's nothing to do with real people anymore. That's just caricatures.
That's one of the problems with during the 90s, I would say, when superhero comic books were being pumped out by like Dark Horse and Top Cow and all these other names. They were so similar. There were all these buff flying men, either with a cape or in a skin-tight bodysuit, and that was everywhere. That was
with different costume colored over
different
them.
colors, different emblems. It was all the same. So it's like, oh, this is another Superman ripoff. This is another Daredevil looking guy. They were all very, very similar. And that was kind of the comic book style of Western comics. With manga, there wasn't just one. There was never just one. And when I went to comic conventions in the 90s, I bought comics from independent authors that I was like, wow, this reminds me of manga, even though it's not. And he's like, really? Yeah, look at your eyes. Look how big they are. Look how detailed they are compared to Western art. He's like, oh, thanks. I was like, well, yeah, it's cool. So there's all these independent people doing their own thing, and they were just like, I like drawing. I'm going to sell my comic. The same way if you went to Japan and found some amateur artist drawing a comic. So it's cool.
For that, I always like to bring up the high quality Franco-Belgian comic stuff that is either completely its own thing, completely wacky, creative art style that you wouldn't expect, very realistic, or it's a mix of very realistic and anime influences, manga influences.
Yeah, well, anyway, this is I just love this shot because it's such a great pose. The proportions look good. Like, see the left hand, or her left hand is bigger than the right hand, so it's closer to the screen. The hair is a bit wild, but that's what's really cool about hair. In anime and manga, you can go crazy. And the rest is like pretty believable. Doesn't make my brain hurt.
Yeah. From that time, I love the vibrancy of the colors, the details, the color choices, the poses. It has a different feeling of how it is alive compared to the standard modern stuff that you have.
Yeah. Okay.
Larger eyes, but she still looks womanly. Compare Sarah's Victoria to Integra, and you can see more anime aesthetics in Sarah's because of her face. But she's proven her.
That was the other one. That can't be the same.
No, it's Sarah's when she's a normal girl, and the other is Sarah's when she's vampire mode.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought that was a different. Not the extreme. There was two showings of the show, right? There was the.
The 2000s anime and then the Ultimate.
Yeah, Ultimate.
Yeah,
sorry.
there was the one they made before the manga was finished, and then there was Ultimate. But on the left, Sarah's, you can also see that her skin has much more color. On the right, it's much paler. So you have Sarah's before she's bitten and after she's bitten.
Because of her face, but she's proven her worth as a soldier carrying very big guns, so it works. The dirty pair, Kei and Yuri, are womanly characters that lean way more in 80s anime, but they're part of the girls with guns trope. Other ladies that fit the bill are Ryoko and Satsuki, Cutie Honey, Olivia Mira Armstrong, Alita, the Nightsabers from Bones, and Ranmaru Rindo. On that note, did you ever notice that some manly characters actually have large lips? I know JoJo lips gradually got bigger, but I'm being serious.
Okay, the first
about this.
one is
if you look
supposed...
carefully, certain men do have
defined... So, the first one was supposed to be the fat kid that's supposed to look stupid, that you're then underestimating. The other one looked like a JoJo character. I haven't seen JoJo, by the way. That just looked gay.
Well,
those are different. Like, he's just saying, like, oh, they have pronounced lips. Like, there are different reasons for that.
Yeah, the first one.
He's just listing things.
Yeah.
He's just randomly listing things, and I don't even know what his claim is.
Right. The first shot with the guy with the big lips, that is a romantic comedy. And the focus is the fact that there's this big, bulky dude who befriends this tiny little lady in the same high school, and they fall in love. And he's overtly gentlemanly and kind and all those good things. And one of the messages of the story, I can't remember the title, is to not judge a book by its cover, because he's very scary looking and big and burly, but he's actually really soft-hearted and kind and super nice to pretty much everyone. But he comes across as scary because he's so big. If he would explain that, the stories about this, and the contrast showcases his masculinity as this big burly dude, then you can say, oh, okay, this is very obvious, and they're making a joke about it. They're making you laugh at the fact that this guy is so nice and kind and cares about puppies and flowers and all that other stuff, despite being this big, hulky, deep-voiced man or young man and befriending a docile little woman. So that is, you want to showcase masculinity. And you could talk about style, you could talk about art style, you could talk about other elements that make him masculine, but that's the story is conveying that, and it does that with visuals as well. We could talk about women being masculine, and they could be the most feminine-looking girls. They could be princesses and wearing all, not muscular at all, just normal svelte-looking girl, but their personality and how they talk and what they want and how they do and how they behave. You could talk about that. But he's talking about art style. So what he should have done, well, we're almost done. I don't know what
I think he's just saying random things. He just drops words and there's no connection between them, really.
Yeah, what he should have done.
The show, for example, these are not big lips. This is a realistic art style. And they're just realistically drawn normal lips. They're not big.
Like, what I think he should have started with was, like, here is an artist known for doing masculine-looking characters like Akira Toriyama, and they're stocky, they're mesomorphic. All the people look stocky that are fighters, even the robots, even the aliens, they're all tiny, unless there's, like, souped-up versions, which are just 3 times the same thing, only the scale is different. And say Akira Toriyama is known for doing this. Look at this style. His eyes and eyebrows and hair do this, and that represents that. And you can go, great, okay, cool. And then you go to more realistic character style that do whatever. Then you do the exaggeration style like JoJo's and Baki, and I don't know, do some sports anime. That would be a good idea. And then say, this is what I've observed. And you go, oh, yeah, some of these elements overlap, some of them don't. Why is that? We can talk about it. He's just going, look at this. This has a guy in it, and he has ears, but ears don't really matter. Look at this guy. He has thin eyebrows. That doesn't matter unless they're bushy. And then you're like, okay. What do eyebrows matter than if they don't matter? Like, I don't know. They just do in certain cases. You're like, all right.
And maybe he's mistaking this drawing for big lips because the spread, the mouth is open. That's usually what makes lips look bigger. There's a trick to that. Or a perception issue. Fucking hell.
Yeah. He has to talk
I don't think this guy's been out much.
He has to talk about the depiction of males and females at certain ages as the audience might recognize them. And then say, hey, look at this anime or manga, and this way, the way this artist does that, this is definitely masculine. You go, great. What does that mean? It's a story about fighting, so therefore they all have to be super strong, so it's believable that they're dedicated to this or that. Like we talk about Kenichi, the people with the big lightning bolt eyebrows are amazing, even if they're young. So as soon as you see that, like, oh, that's a symbol that these people are really good at fighting in whatever style. That's good, because that's what that story and that art style is telling the audience, as opposed to another one like JoJo's where everything's all up in the air and everyone has superpowers and they're all different. So he needs to focus and tell us something that's similar. He found a pattern. He goes, look, these artists did this, and this is what I figured out. So eyebrows obviously don't work, right? Anyway, we got less than 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes, yeah.
Lips. Guts from Berserk is one of those guys. It's not something that's often brought up, but a lot of the adult males that are drawn close to realism tend to have them.
No,
What's
the normal
left?
size,
Not
you
much,
idiot.
just a few creative accessories. I'm being literal with that. Sometimes characters can be manly or womanly with the clothes they wear, the weapons
you
they
stop
carry,
saying
or even
woman?
the vehicles they drive. Additions can be motorcycles, automobiles,
What?
spaceships,
What?
sunglasses, tattoos,
What?
scars,
What are you talking
mechanical
about?
limb, guns, swords, cigars, jackets.
Wait, you just said cigar.
Is
I
he
told
just,
you he's just saying random things.
Is he just
It's
describing-
nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. He's just
It's the accessories. What does it have to do with art style?
or being a male or a female or
I'm not even sure his concept of male and female works right.
Look, the cop has a gun. He's a guy. He's so masculine. Like, no.
This guy has a cigar.
Like,
Did
look,
I mention
he had oh god, what was her name? The main girl from Gunsmith Cats.
Riley Vincent.
Yeah, Raleigh. In a nice leather suit dress thing. And that's womanly. What?
Yeah, look at Revy.
That's feminine, you idiot. Do you know what woman? What is woman?
Well, look at Revy from Black Lagoon. She has dual wielding guns or whatever. Is that masculine? I don't think so.
Yeah, because she's not a cute damsel in distress with big eyes, probably.
I don't know. She swears, she drinks, she smokes. Everyone smokes.
Yes, all she's a man.
Everyone's a man.
She's a man.
Everyone in that story is a man. Boy.
Armor, heart suits, torn clothes, shirtless, or even being naked. There's numerous.
Wait, what? How does
Being naked is manly.
What are you? What is he talking about?
So his premise is he's talking about, or his maybe he has forgotten what his video is supposed to be about. But he wanted to tell us what art style makes a character manly. So being naked is manly.
Yeah, but he just described torn clothes and jackets.
Manly.
And then
Manly.
nudity. Therefore, they're all manly? Like,
Also
what?
manly. So having clothes is manly and
Yeah,
being
but
naked is manly.
He showed
It's
naked
okay.
women fighting. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Manly. Naked women fighting is manly.
What is happening?
What? Everything is manly.
Everything. Read a book with women in it about women and girls growing up.
Manly.
It's a manly
Manly.
book, guys.
Well, of course it is manly. A man would like to have more women in his content.
Oh, jeez.
Look at these women beating each other.
To
Manly.
fill his male gaze or whatever. I don't know.
I got to rewatch the last minute of this because I am lost. He just listed a bunch of shit. I'm like, what?
He's just saying random shit. I don't know. Did you write this beforehand?
Oh.
So imagine you got a you get this as a homework. You write a text about a topic, and then you read this as a teacher. Like, it's just saying random things here.
Yeah, imagine the art style of Disney from 1980 or 90.
Manly.
It's all Disney princesses stuff. It's like, look at how manly Jasmine is. You're like, what? What are you talking about? She has a blue outfit. Now she has a pink outfit. She's very manly now.
No. She has thick eyebrows, so she's manly.
Oh, that's
Her
what
stomach, her stomach's exposed. It's manly.
Oh, God.
What the hell?
Anyway, 30. Yeah, 30. Okay, we're almost done.
ways to have a manly and womanly character, and that's the most.
Manly and womanly. What is he talking about? He's making up words.
I just want to note that this is the type of background, and it's like in the middle here because we have animation behind it. That I miss in modern anime. The style of detailed drawing.
Yeah.
That if you watch, I watched Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust with a couple people on the server a few weeks ago, I think, and pointed out the detail of the surrounding elements of like the railing of the bridge they were crossing, and even the shadows drawn from that, and everybody was stunned at just this attention to detail in these old things.
Yeah,
and it's,
that whole show is everything, and like everything in that, the design was all detailed. Even the city you go through, the first few minutes, the crosses are bending, like all that little detail just like boom breaks, the bricks fall apart.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, the forests, everything in that show is gorgeous, and it's a joy that the story is actually pretty good too, compared to the first Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, the creator wanted to make the other movie because he felt the original one was too blunt and didn't know enough. Didn't know enough about good animation.
80s and 90s anime like Vampire Princess Miyu and other shows. They're fine. They're not like, ooh, that was good. With Bloodlust, it's like, oh, that's a really good show. Like, that's fun to watch. It's a good story.
Show?
It's dramatic. Movie. You care about you care about every character. It's kind of cool that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kills off at moments that you do not necessarily expect.
Anyway.
When it kills characters.
Well, the designs, the technology, the magic, all of it's very like this is anime. I'm watching an adult anime. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's not gratuitous. Yeah. It's just like, yes, good stuff.
On that note, the original Vampire Hunter D movie was, I think, the first adult anime movie. Not in the sense of their sex, but in the sense of it's an adult story with violence and gore.
Yeah, like Ninja Scroll was a big one.
What you wanted to be.
Akira was a big one in the 90s. Princess
and
Mononoke.
as I read through that, as I read a bit up on it, what I had no idea about is that Vampire Hunter D novels belong to the most sold books in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. I know it was a pretty hard survival horror game in the PlayStation, so it was brutal. Anyway, we're almost done. Womanly.
Womanly.
He just made that up.
Oh my god. This guy's amazing.
I hope this gave you a more insightful look on the manly art style. At
No.
the very least, I hope you had
You're not
fun
talking
and
about
thank you
art.
for watching till the end. I'm the AnimeHERO. I'm just a fan of all things and I love talking about them.
You're not talking about art style.
I don't-
You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't mind he talks about them. I just wish he knew what the hell he was talking about.
Sonic Adventure 2 Ost. Sonic 6 Ost. Ah. Yeah, right.
All right. Anyway, let's see if we have any
This guy didn't know
bizarre.
what
Do
he's-
we have any bizarre memes?
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Absolutely amazing.
Do we have memes, guys? I'll find out. All right, we got memes.
So many.
This is a holy hell. What am I looking at here? Don't know, but Jean-Luc, thank you. Ben Shapiro. Oh my God.
Iggy, no.
How did we get from Kojiro to Ben Shapiro? All right. When King Dedede makes a cartoon that objectively looks better than Berserk 2016.
Looks like Crown Shinsuke.
Oh. Ripped anime girls are the best?
Wait a minute. That last one's cheating.
I don't know if the bottom left is what you...
That's a mod. Come on.
That's a bit... Yeah. I don't know.
Is that not a bodysuit? Biomecha?
Someone's been drinking there. Nope.
Jeez. That looks ridiculous, but okay. Doji is pretty much Jotaro, but a 25-year-old woman. Oh, cool. You're right. Yeah, look at that.
I support that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The hat gave it away.
Hey, if you can make those bandages work, you're awesome. You're
I don't think they're suppressing anything. They're just...
No, that's to support.
It looks like they're individually
And they're
holding...
somehow not falling off.
Yeah,
and
like-
that is what makes this goddess tier level.
Yeah, like each breast is being held up by individual bandages. There's nothing.
And they somehow curve inward
Yeah.
into the cleft. That's
Taper
that's
glue.
squad magic.
Yeah. I'm going with glue. You've
but
got
the
no nose.
glue is shit because that gets messed up by body sweat. And since you're fighting, you're gonna sweat, and then it falls off anyway. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
Kieran
work.
or he has no nose. Yeah. Well. What are you gonna do? Nobody. 90s comic artist. Oh Jesus.
Jesus Christ, that looks.
Holy carpet fire!
I don't even.
I want to get the arms checked out.
No, thank you.
That looks like someone injected him with something.
The male body does not have this many abs
Or muscles in general.
or anything. Like he couldn't move his arms. He couldn't punch anyone. He could just rotate his
It
arms.
looks like someone injected him full of, I don't know, some kind of material.
that like
Doesn't look good.
what drugs was the artist here?
All right, so here we got girl on the left with exaggerated hands. That's normal. And girl on the right with exaggerated everything.
Power.
I'm big. I don't know how to Photoshop, so just imagine the wild girl in this, all right? Do you guys ever think about what... Oh. Okay. Whatever you're... I think I've seen this before, but it doesn't really matter what the anime content is. Just put in whatever you like. We are men, manly men. Men in tights. Tights.
Great movie. Watch it.
Yeah, it's fun. Naked Lad. Earth's most nude superhero.
Oh no,
Oh.
he's not of age.
Womanly. Your overnight guide to recognizing your feminine archetype? Okay.
No. Smut, it's womanly.
Oh. I wish it was like whoa and then like a dash. Whoa.
Don't give the Germans ideas, the German feminists.
Rudolf von Stroheim never saw JoJo again. In 1943, he died a proud German soldier fighting in Stalingrad. Are you crying, my fear? No. Stroheim. How you have guns popping out of your body, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a fun movie, by the way, but the book is better. Also, has a better ending.
I think this is...
Which one?
Yeah, Caporel's art. Okay.
The movie is called He's Back.
Ah.
Because actually intro. So it's not really a spoiler. The intro is Hitler actually escaped in 1945. He didn't suicide himself because he had access to a chronosphere and time traveled to I think 2012 and just appeared in that very spot. And everybody thinks he's just a comedian who's doing a caricature.
This is amazing. I don't know what it has to do with anime, but you put a Judeo-Christian icon on the cross and you buff him up, and I don't know how he didn't tear the nail out first, but apparently he just tore the wood out. Like,
jeez.
Like that. No, the physics don't work.
Well, the thing is, he has to be crucified, so you can't take the nail out. So I guess everything comes with it.
He just beats your head in with the planks of wood attached to his hand.
He walks around with the wood attached to his hand. He has to. He's going to die for your sins, so you can't take them off.
Oh, that's his weapon in a fighting game. Where the pieces of the cross, they're still attached to his arms, and he uses them like tonfa.
Yeah, and he starts the fight
and spins them around.
He starts the fight by being on the cross, and he just tears the cross to pieces, and he just boom, he's on the ground, ready to go.
Yeah, man, and then he spins the cross pieces like tonfa. Or his nails in his hands. It's great.
Or
somebody make that.
Or he rolls the stone away himself from a cave, and he just runs out of the cave. He just picks the big stone across.
Oh no, that's his special. That's his special move for ranged attacks.
Oh,
where he gets the boulder and then throws it at.
Throws the stone. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then he gets some extra powers from the Apokrypha.
All right, that was the weirdest, dumbest anime video we covered so far.
Yeah, this was especially brain dead.
Yeah, it wasn't like
I
offensive.
did not know what was going on.
Yeah, it wasn't offensive in terms of like, oh, I like this is my fetish. I think men are manly or whatever. This is like, I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about, but let me describe what I'm seeing, which is fine. You're not wrong. You're describing on the screen what's actually there, but you're missing the point of your essay or your topic or your, like, there's no brain. There's no, you're just, eyeballs are working.
Yeah, but apparently that is sufficient to get 20,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So everybody in the chat, including me, make content. You can top this.
Yes, no problem. It wouldn't be hard.
Like, don't think yourself inadequate. The bar is very low.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone. That was really bad, but I had a good time. First 10 seconds had GoGo 13, so I was like, hey, this is GoGo 13. What more can you say?
We should have stopped there.
Yeah.
Might have preserved some neurons.
The style of manliness is GoGo 13. That's all you need to know. Anyway.
Yeah, that's you should have stopped there.
Yeah. So thank you so much. That was our delayed anime day. Thanks for watching, and keep the suggestions coming. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great evening. Bye.
Have a great night.
Later.